Long before cowboy legends were written in books, there was a young boy named Nat Love walking barefoot through Tennessee red clay, chasing a future only the West could offer. Picture the gentle morning mist rolling across the Tennessee hills in 1854, where a young boy named Nat Love is learning to walk among the weathered cabins and red clay earth of his birthplace. The air carries the scent of wood smoke and dew-dampened earth, while somewhere in the distance a rooster calls the dawn. Nat's small hands are already showing the calluses that will one day grip a lasso with legendary precision, but for now, they're simply the hands of a child born into slavery, unaware that his name will someday echo across the western plains as one of the most skilled cowboys in America. The wooden floors of the cabin creak softly under his bare feet as young Nat moves about his daily chores, the sound mixing with the gentle murmur of his mother's voice as she tends to the morning cooking. The cabin is small and simple, its walls chinked with mud and moss to keep out the winter cold, but it's filled with the warmth of family and the quiet strength that will serve Nat well in the years to come. His father's hands, scarred from years of hard labor, are gentle as they guide the boy through his first lessons in handling animals, teaching him to read the language of horses and cattle with the patience that comes from understanding that these skills might one day mean the difference between life and death. When freedom comes in 1865, it arrives like a spring thunderstorm, sudden and transformative, washing away the old world and leaving behind possibilities that seem as vast as the sky itself. Nat is 11 years old, standing in the doorway of that same cabin, watching his father make the decision that will change everything. The West is calling, promising work and opportunity for those brave enough to answer, and the Love family knows that their future lies somewhere beyond the horizon, where the land stretches endlessly and a man's worth is measured by his skill rather than his past. The journey west is long and dusty, filled with the creaking of wagon wheels and the steady rhythm of oxen hooves against the hard-packed earth. Nat walks alongside the wagon, his young legs growing stronger with each mile, his eyes drinking in the changing landscape as the familiar hills of Tennessee give way to the vast expanses of Kansas. The air tastes different here, drier and sharper, carrying the scent of sage and buffalo grass that will become as familiar to him as his own breathing. At night, around the campfire, he listens to the stories told by other travelers heading west, tales of cattle drives and cowboys that fire his imagination and plant seeds of ambition in his young heart. In Dodge City, Kansas, the air thrums with excitement and opportunity. The town is rough and growing, its streets filled with cowboys, gamblers, merchants, and dreamers, all drawn by the promise of the frontier. Nat, now 15 and tall for his age, finds work at a ranch outside town, where he encounters his first real cowboy horse, a spirited Mustang named Bronco that seems to embody all the wildness and freedom of the West. The horse's coat gleams like polished copper in the morning sun, and his dark eyes hold an intelligence that speaks of untamed places and endless possibilities. The first time Nat swings into the saddle, he feels the power of the animal beneath him, the way the horse's muscles bunch and release with each stride, and he knows he's found his calling. The lasso becomes an extension of Nat's arm, the rope singing through the air with a sound like wind through grass. His mentor, an old cowboy named Jim, watches with approval as the young man's throws become more accurate, more confident. The rope is made of braided rawhide, soft and supple from years of use, and it responds to Nat's touch like a living thing. When he practices his roping on fence posts and stumps, the loop flows through the air with deadly precision, settling over its target with a gentle whisper that belies the skill required to make such a throw. The other cowboys begin to take notice, nodding their approval when Nat successfully ropes a particularly difficult steer or demonstrates a new technique he's developed through hours of patient practice. Picture the scene as Nat Love joins his first cattle drive, the great herd stretching out like a river of brown and white across the prairie. The longhorns move with a rhythmic grace, their hooves creating a thunder that seems to shake the very earth beneath them. Nat rides point, his hat pulled low against the sun, his bandana protecting his face from the dust that rises in clouds around the moving herd. His horse, a dependable bay mare named Dusty, responds to the slightest pressure from his knees, both animal and rider working in perfect harmony to keep the cattle moving in the right direction. The responsibility is enormous, but Nat feels the thrill of it in his bones, the satisfaction of knowing that his skills are essential to the success of the enterprise. The nights on the trail are filled with the sounds of the range, the gentle lowing of cattle, the soft nickering of horses, and the distant call of coyotes singing to the moon. Nat takes his turn at night guard, riding slowly around the sleeping herd, his voice raised in the cowboy songs that keep the cattle calm and content. His singing voice is deep and melodious, shaped by the spirituals he learned in childhood but adapted to the rhythms of the range. The songs drift across the prairie like a gentle breeze, mixing with the rustle of grass and the soft sounds of the night to create a lullaby that soothes both man and beast. As the years pass, Nat's reputation grows like ripples on a pond, spreading from ranch to ranch, from town to town. The other cowboys speak of his skill with admiration and respect, telling stories of impossible shots with the lasso, of wild horses tamed through patience and understanding, of cattle drives completed despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles. His clothing reflects both his success and his practical needs. Well-made boots with silver spurs that ring softly as he walks, leather chaps that protect his legs from thorns and rope burns, and a hat that has been shaped by years of sun and weather into the perfect shade for his face. His gun belt, worn low on his hips, holds weapons that are tools of his trade rather than symbols of aggression, kept clean and ready but used only when necessary. The rodeo arena in Deadwood, South Dakota, buzzes with excitement as Nat prepares for the contest that will make him famous. The year is 1876, and the air is thick with dust and anticipation. Spectators line the wooden bleachers, their faces eager with the prospect of witnessing something extraordinary. Nat's competitors are some of the best cowboys in the territory, men whose names are already legend on the range. But as he checks his equipment one final time, there's a quiet confidence in his movements that speaks of absolute preparation. His lasso is perfectly coiled, his horse is alert and ready, and his mind is focused on the task ahead with the single-minded intensity that separates the good from the great. The contest begins with the sharp crack of a starter's pistol, and suddenly the arena is filled with the thunder of hooves and the shouts of cowboys pushing their mounts to the limit. Nat's horse leaps forward like a released spring, covering ground with powerful strides that eat up the distance between him and his target. The steer he's chasing is a particularly challenging animal, large and quick, with the kind of unpredictable movement that can make even experienced cowboys look foolish. But Nat's rope flies true, the loop settling over the steer's horn with perfect precision, and the crowd erupts in cheers as he brings the animal to a controlled stop in record time. The victories come one after another, each event showcasing a different aspect of Nat's extraordinary skill. In the shooting contest, his pistol barks with mechanical precision, each shot finding its mark with a kind of accuracy that seems almost supernatural. The targets, small and distant, seem to explode at the touch of his bullets, and the crowd watches in amazement as he demonstrates the marksmanship that has made him legendary among his peers. His movements are economical and fluid, each shot fired with the same calm precision that characterizes all his work. And when the contest is over, there's no doubt about the winner. The bronc riding competition showcases another dimension of Nat's abilities as he climbs aboard a horse that seems determined to separate him from the saddle through sheer force of will. The animal bucks and spins with explosive energy, its hooves leaving the ground in violent arcs that would unseat most riders in seconds. But Nat moves with the horse rather than against it, his body flowing with the animal's motion like water, his balance perfect despite the chaos beneath him. His free hand waves in the air, not for show but for balance, and his face shows the intense concentration required to stay mounted on such a powerful and determined opponent. When the dust settles and the scores are tallied, Nat Love has won the roping contest, tied for first in the shooting and placed second in the bronc riding, earning him the title of champion and a purse of $200, a fortune for a working cowboy. But more than the money, it's the recognition that matters, the acknowledgement from his peers that he has achieved something truly exceptional. The other cowboys, men who have spent their lives perfecting these same skills, offer their congratulations with genuine respect, and Nat knows that he has crossed the threshold from which there is no return. The railroad towns of the West provide a different kind of arena for Nat's talents, places where the wild energy of the range meets the growing civilization of the East. In these towns, with their wooden sidewalks and false front buildings, Nat finds work as a Pullman porter, trading his spurs for a conductor's cap, but never losing the skills that made him famous. The trains themselves are marvels of engineering, their steam engines breathing like living things as they pulled their loads of passengers and freight across the vast distances of the continent. The rhythmic clacking of wheels on rails becomes a new kind of music for Nat, different from the sounds of the range, but equally hypnotic in its own way. Meanwhile, in the hill country of Texas, another legend is taking shape in the form of a young man named Bill Pickett, whose innovative approach to handling cattle will revolutionize the sport of rodeo. Bill's childhood is spent among the ranches and farms of the Jenks Branch community, where the air is filled with the lowing of cattle and the calls of working cowboys. His mixed heritage, part African American, part Cherokee, gives him a unique perspective on the world and a set of skills that draw from multiple traditions. The horses he rides are descendants of Spanish stock, bred for intelligence and endurance, and they respond to his touch with the kind of trust that comes from generations of partnership between man and animal. Picture Bill as a young man, watching Mexican vaqueros work cattle with techniques passed down through centuries of ranching tradition. The vaqueros move with fluid grace, their horses and lassos working in perfect harmony to control animals that outweigh them by hundreds of pounds. But Bill's observant mind sees possibilities that others miss, ways to improve upon the traditional methods through innovation and daring. His first experiments with bulldogging, the technique that will make him famous, begin as practical solutions to everyday problems on the range, but they evolve into something much more spectacular as he refines his approach through years of practice and experimentation. The technique itself is breathtaking to watch. Bill approaches a running steer on a horseback, matching the animal's speed with perfect precision, then leaps from his saddle onto the steer's back, grasping the animal's horns with both hands and using his own body weight and leverage to wrestle the powerful creature to the ground. The physical demands are enormous, requiring not just strength, but perfect timing, incredible balance, and an intimate understanding of animal psychology. The steer, weighing perhaps 800 pounds and moving at full gallop, becomes a partner in a deadly dance where the slightest miscalculation can result in serious injury or death. Bill's horses are specially trained for this work, understanding their role in the performance with an intelligence that borders on the supernatural. The horse must match the steer's speed exactly, providing a stable platform for Bill's leap while avoiding the dangerous hooves and horns that could injure both horse and rider. The animals Bill rides are typically quarter horses, bred for their explosive speed and ability to work cattle, their muscles rippling beneath coats that gleam like polished mahogany in the arena lights. The trust between Bill and his horses is absolute, built through years of patient training and mutual respect, and spectators often comment that horse and rider seem to move as a single entity. The rodeo arena becomes Bill's stage, a place where his innovations can be showcased before audiences hungry for excitement and spectacle. The wooden bleachers creak under the weight of spectators who have come to witness something they've never seen before, and the air is thick with anticipation and the scent of dust and leather. Bill's entrance is always dramatic, his horse prancing with controlled energy, both animal and rider alert and ready for the challenge ahead. His clothing is practical but stylish, reflecting both his working cowboy background and his status as a performer. Chaps that protect his legs from rope burns and horn scratches, a hat that has been shaped by years of use into the perfect shade for his face, and boots with spurs that ring softly as he moves. The crowd watches in fascination as Bill demonstrates his bulldogging technique, the silence broken only by the thunder of hooves and the occasional gasp of amazement from the spectators. When he leaps from his horse onto the back of the running steer, time seems to slow down, every movement visible in perfect detail as man and animal engage in their ancient struggle. The steer's muscles strain against Bill's grip, its hooves throwing up clouds of dust as it tries to escape. But Bill's technique is flawless, his movements economical and precise as he brings the powerful animal to the ground with a grace that makes the impossible look routine. The success of Bill's bulldogging technique spreads throughout the rodeo circuit like wildfire, with other cowboys attempting to replicate his methods, but few achieving his level of mastery. The technique requires not just physical ability, but a deep understanding of animal behavior, an ability to read the subtle signs that indicate when a steer is about to turn or change direction. Bill's innovations influence the development of modern rodeo events, with his bulldogging technique becoming a standard competition that continues to this day. His legacy extends beyond the arena, inspiring generations of cowboys to push the boundaries of what's possible in their interactions with livestock. The traveling rodeo shows of the early 1900s provide a new venue for both Nat Love and Bill Pickett to showcase their skills, bringing the excitement of the range to audiences in cities and towns across the country. These shows are elaborate productions, complete with grandstands, announcers, and carefully choreographed events that transform the practical skills of working cowboys into entertainment spectacle. The smell of popcorn and peanuts mingles with the familiar scents of horses and leather, creating an atmosphere that is both exotic and familiar to the urban audiences who flock to see these demonstrations of Western skill. Picture the scene as the Miller Brothers 101. Ranch Wild West show sets up in yet another town, the canvas tents and wooden structures rising like a temporary city on the outskirts of civilization. Bill Pickett, now famous as the Dusky Demon, prepares for another performance, his movements calm and methodical as he checks his equipment and greets his horses. The show's publicity materials describe him in language that reflects the racial attitudes of the time, but his skill transcends these limitations, earning him the respect of audiences and fellow performers alike. His presence in the show helps to establish rodeo as a legitimate form of entertainment, paving the way for the professional rodeo circuit that will emerge in later decades. The relationship between performer and audience in these shows is complex and intimate, with spectators able to observe the subtle details that make the difference between competent and exceptional performance. They can see the way Bill's hands move as he prepares to leap from his horse, the slight shift in his weight that signals his intentions to his mount, the perfect timing that allows him to land on the steer's back at exactly the right moment. The audience becomes part of the performance, their collective intake of breath and burst of applause, adding to the drama and excitement of the moment. The horses used in these shows are celebrities in their own right, animals whose intelligence and training make them essential partners in the spectacular displays of skill. Bill's favorite mount, a powerful bay gelding named Spradley, becomes almost as famous as his rider, known for his ability to anticipate Bill's needs and respond to the slightest cue. The horse's coat gleams with health and careful grooming, and his eyes hold the alert intelligence that marks him as something special. The partnership between Bill and Spradley is built on years of trust and mutual respect, and spectators often comment that the two seem to communicate through some form of telepathy. The social challenges faced by black cowboys in this era are woven throughout their stories like threads in a tapestry, sometimes visible and sometimes hidden, but always present. They must navigate a world that often refuses to acknowledge their contributions, where their skills are valued, but their humanity is questioned. Yet they persist, finding ways to excel despite the obstacles placed in their path, turning their disadvantages into advantages through sheer determination and exceptional ability. Their success serves as a testament to the power of skill and character to overcome prejudice. Though the struggle is never easy and the victories are often hard-won, the technical aspects of their work require a deep understanding of animal psychology, physics, and human anatomy that few fully appreciate. When Bill Pickett leaps from his horse onto a running steer, he must calculate speed, distance, and timing with split-second precision, while simultaneously preparing his body for the impact and the struggle that will follow. The physics involved are complex, involving momentum, leverage, and the application of force in ways that maximize effectiveness while minimizing risk. The knowledge required is partly instinctive, developed through years of experience, but it also involves conscious study of animal behavior and movement patterns. The equipment used by these cowboys is carefully selected and maintained, each piece serving a specific purpose in their dangerous work. Bill's chaps are made of thick leather, designed to protect his legs from the horns and hooves of struggling cattle, while his gloves provide grip and protection for his hands. His spurs are not merely decorative, but functional tools, designed to provide precise communication with his horse during the critical moments when perfect coordination is essential. The quality of his equipment often means the difference between success and failure, between safety and injury, so every piece is chosen with care and maintained with the attention to detail that marks a true professional. The legacy of these men extends far beyond their individual achievements, influencing the development of American culture and identity in ways that are still being understood today. Their stories become part of the mythology of the West, contributing to the image of the cowboy as a symbol of freedom, independence, and skill. The techniques they developed continue to be used in modern rodeo competition, their innovations forming the foundation for events that entertain millions of spectators each year. Their example inspires future generations of cowboys, both black and white, to push the boundaries of what's possible in their chosen profession. The autobiography that Nat Love publishes in 1907, The Life and Adventures of Nat Love, better known in the cattle country as Deadwood Dick, becomes one of the first accounts of black cowboy life written by someone who actually lived it. The book, with its vivid descriptions of life on the range and its matter-of-fact recounting of extraordinary adventures, provides a window into a world that few readers have ever seen. Nat's writing style is direct and unpretentious, reflecting the practical nature of his experience while conveying the excitement and danger of his chosen profession. The book becomes a bestseller, introducing thousands of readers to the realities of cowboy life and establishing Nat as not just a skilled cowboy, but a gifted storyteller as well. The rodeo circuits of the early 20th century provide a new kind of community for these exceptional men, a traveling society where skill and character matter more than background or ancestry. The performers develop deep friendships based on shared experiences and mutual respect, supporting each other through the inevitable injuries and setbacks that come with their dangerous profession. The camaraderie extends beyond racial lines, creating bonds that last lifetimes and influence the development of rodeo as both sport and entertainment. These relationships demonstrate the power of shared excellence to transcend social barriers, creating a meritocracy where talent and dedication are the ultimate arbiters of success. The influence of these pioneers ripples through time like stones thrown into still water, touching lives and inspiring achievements that extend far beyond the world of rodeo and ranching. Their example shows that excellence has no color, that skill and determination can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and that the American dream of success through hard work and talent is available to those brave enough to pursue it. The legacy they leave behind continues to inspire new generations of performers, athletes, and dreamers, proving that true greatness transcends the limitations of time and circumstance. As the sun sets over the arena and the last spectators file out through the gates, the echoes of their achievements seem to linger in the air like the sound of distant thunder. The dust settles slowly, revealing the arena floor marked by the hooves of horses and cattle, the physical evidence of another day's worth of extraordinary performance. In the quiet of the evening, with the lights dimmed and the excitement faded,
The true magnitude of what these men accomplished becomes clear. Their contributions to American culture and identity as permanent as the stars that shine down on the empty arena, waiting for tomorrow's performance to begin.
If tonight's story helped you rest, subscribe to Echoes of Black History ASMR for more quiet echoes from the past. Until next time, sleep well.